Hey everyone, just decided to stream the Division 3 Terra Mystica Tuesday League game that I've got going on this evening. This is my first game playing in this season. This is season 2, I guess, of TMTL, and I'm in Division 3. So if you're new to the format, basically the way it works is I'm in a division with 4 other players. So Tensor Victor, Patrick the Isles, and CH Tennis are in my division. There's 5 games, and 4 of us play every night. So there's 5 4-player games. So we all get to play each other once. Like there's every combination of 4-player games possible, which also means that like each player has 1 week. That's their bye. Sorry, I should have moved over to the game board here. Apologies. Yeah, these are the other 3 players I was talking about. And then CH Tennis is the 4th player in the division. Anyhow, so last week was my bye, so this is game 2 of the division, and CH Tennis is sitting this one out. Anyhow, just thought I would stream this. Haven't publicized it a ton. It's mainly for the VOD, although there might be the odd viewer that will show up. If you are catching up this, checking out the stream, just sort of keep chatter to kind of a low. If you don't mind, I won't be accepting like any help or anything like that. So sort of keep comments to a minimum, and ideally sort of make them after the fact, after I've sort of made moves and stuff like that. Anyhow, enough said. Let's take a look at the setup. We're playing base landscapes. Base landscapes. Mermaids have been chosen. I'm picking in second seat. We've got big buildings in round 4 and 6, with the big building pass tile in the game. Trading posts in rounds 3 and 5. So we've got some repeated events here. This is actually kind of interesting. TP big building, TP big building. I don't know if I've seen that before. Temples into dwellings, which is a pretty common building order. Actually, this is a pretty common building order, really, for temple factions. You get a temple out, try to get some, get worker economy going, maybe build a second temple or a stronghold or something in round 3 or 4, TP up. Yeah, it's not the highest scoring because of this round is a little awkward, but it's a pretty solid track, really. We've got 3 of the 4 pass tiles in. The TP bonus isn't in, which is probably the least consequential for most factions that really want to score off of these 3. So we're missing TP bond, we're missing priest, and 4 coins in a cult step. Okay, everyone gets a good pass tile. Third seat probably gets worker power. How would I feel about engineers here? I usually feel pretty good about engineers. It's not the highest scoring track for them. There's no trading post bonus in. I think I throw engineers in here. I had initially tried to get these guys just to come into voice chat for this game, which would have been a lot of fun. And I think we're going to try possibly for next week's game. But one of them couldn't, like they had family or something over and just didn't have a private space to jump into a voice call. So anyhow, so it was like literally a minute ago I just decided, well, I was sort of in the mood for talking through Terra Mystica games. Initially, yeah, tried to voice call with these folks, but when that didn't pan out, I just thought I would stream instead. Since the pandemic, I've been like really obviously missing in-person live play of board games, playing games with groups of people and then like discussing them. Whether you're playing a board game for the first time or you're like digging into a game that you play repeatedly, like just being with a group of people where you discuss like board game mechanics, what you like, what you don't, strategy, how you evaluate different game decisions. Like I just really like that kind of thing. And so throughout the pandemic, I've been really enjoying trying to get on voice calls with players. And I think, and this may sound kind of sad, but it's part of the reason why I actually like streaming, is it gives me an excuse basically to talk to myself while I'm playing, which probably sounds really bizarre, but also interacting with chat. But it's like the next best thing to like, in lieu of playing board games in person and in lieu of like playing board games on the internet on like a voice call with people, like streaming still provides sort of an interactive element with other players. So I think that's part of the reason why I've been enjoying streaming so much as of late. But anyhow, this is a competitive game. I should be paying attention and not just babbling on. We have a 3 in a row on the color wheel with engineers on the other side. That usually means this is just going to be better. We've got sandwich darkling, so that's kind of weird. I say weird because I never really know how to evaluate sandwich darklings. Generally, a sandwiched faction is like a good bit worse than the rest of them, but they are darklings. I guess this might be a table where they get Earth 1 Rush. It is a temple event in round 1, so they might get Earth 1 blocked. Just kind of funky. But I don't know that they're like worse than mermaids. Mermaids are on an end of a 3 in a row. They're competing with engineers for green hexes. And there's no yellow in the game. So they probably do this kind of stuff. And get okay leech, but it's not, like there's no yellow in the game. So I don't think mermaids, well, I don't know, the ship VP is in, which darklings aren't a shipping faction. Maybe darklings and mermaids are closer than I think they are. I think engineers gotta be good for another point. Cultists get 32 call points here. Yeah, well, possibly. Engineers can do a decent job. Engineers can play some culty stuff sometimes. Engineers can also sometimes be decently quick to a town. That's interesting. You know what? I think I'm allowed to lean on these tools even though they're it's a tournament game. I'm interested in what Snellman's statistics. I haven't used this site in a while. I'm interested to see what Snellman says with this matchup. It says engineers are better for quite a bit. Let's take off 12 points. Thinks they're still better, and that cultists and darklings. So it does actually like cultists by a couple of points. So Patrick, I don't know. I mean, these are just sort of statistics. I'm okay with another point or so on engineers. What are the starting pass tiles looking like? If darklings gets Earth 1 blocked, a really good thing that they could get in lieu of Earth 1 is a Sanctuary round 1. In 4th seed, it's a little trickier because you don't get as much leech. It's also interesting with darklings in 4th seed. If people did want to Earth 1 rush, darklings aren't going to like take double spade, so mermaids can have Earth 1 and double dig in 1st seat with worker power or temp ship. So darklings will take the big building bonus, probably if they can get a sanctuary out. Otherwise, they just take the spade to be annoying, and then they take the worker's action when it comes to them in round an action on their second move. And yeah. Cultists either get a spade here or they get the big building bonus, which is pretty broken for opening. Like, opening double temple on cultists is never bad. Or, let me rephrase that, it's always really good. But especially when it's worth like 8 points. This isn't the greatest event. I guess that's the compensation for cultists. It's like they're getting 8 points in lieu of a bonus because you build double temples here for points, but you don't get, like, you get 4 cult steps off of that. So you don't get a spade or a couple of workers like you would if it was a TP event. But you just straight up get 8 points. And then you either do this or you take the spade and try to take the worker action, which you might not get because darklings would take it. So then you would just single temple and dig this stuff. And anyhow, it's cultists have a fine game plan here. Cultists probably just are better than darklings. Yeah, I guess we another tick. Cultists and Darklings double dig G4 in round 1. So I guess that's what Darklings could take as compensation. I don't know how good that is. It's kind of weird, but... Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, if you have NG Swarmling, Darkling, Cultists, I mean, in that matchup, I probably just wouldn't start here as Darklings or Cultists, but if this traffic jam does happen, that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, digging this is actually not... I actually did do that in a game once, like a couple months ago. I think I did one of those really goofy things where I took like single spade and used my priest or something. Yeah. Yep. So I'm not, I'm not getting a good deal on anything. Not with this gang. These are all pretty solid players. I guess I haven't played, calling this guy Victor. It's actually Vitork. I don't think I've played Vitork, but I've definitely played Tensor and Patrick Vidal's. We were in a division together last season of TMTL. Alright, that's a lot to play for engineers. Engineers are pretty broken. But... Cultists are also pretty broken. Of these 4 factions, Cultists have the second least color pressure. Which is important to note. Because of the number of factions in Terra Mystica, when there's a 3 in a row, the 4th faction is never directly across. It's always slightly close. It's always closer to one of the edge factions. So that's Mermaids. So Mermaids has Darklings as a neighbor, and then fights with Engineers over green. So what this really means here is that Cultists' big strength in this game is that they're fighting basically no one over yellows. And with no giants or, well, nomads, but like, yeah, with a sandstorm. Like basically there's no pressure on yellow hexes this game. Darklings would have to, well, Darklings will double dig some various stuff later on in the game with priests, but yeah, it's basically all pretty safe, unless some weird stuff happens early game, but yeah. So they need to secure browns that they think Darklings might take. They need to scoop up a couple of blacks that they want from Darklings, and then otherwise they kind of just like coast on free yellows for the rest of the game. So it's kind of cushy. Yeah. So where are the starting locations? So Cultists, Mermaids probably open with D5 because that's the most obvious, and then they see where everyone else goes. Engineers are E7, F6. Cultists go E6. They get a center town. They either get D4 from Engineers or they get G2. It would be pretty wild if they couldn't carve out 3 hexes one way or another. So they temple up in the center. Seems good. There's an eventual sanctuary, probably in round 4, is like a sanctuary for water 1 kind of things. Anyhow, Cultists have a town in the center. Cultists also want to start in the east, so they probably start F5. They might go F7, depending on where Darklings place. Right? Like if Darklings, Cultists go E6, and then Darklings have to place twice. So say Darklings go E5, G5, or something. Which I don't know if they would. I actually don't know where I start here as Darklings. It's kind of awkward for them. Cultists might do this and this. But anyhow, Cultists are basically getting a ton of leech. Darklings could get good leech, but then get kind of stuck. Mermaids, I don't know. I think everyone's kind of okay here. I just like Cultists again by point. This is fine. And we decided Cultists get a spade or they get double temple, and both are pretty good. I'd love to play engineers here, but I just think they're getting bid quite a bit. Also, Darkling's at 30. Darklings have to be fine. Like, I think the next bid is just Darklings. I'm a little concerned of Darklings in this. Yeah. Okay, if Patrick goes Mermaids here, I'll take Darklings for 30. Can I open Sanctuary, though? Oh, sorry, this thing is not full screen. I always do that. I think he just goes Darklings here. I mean, it's too much at this point. It's a good question. That's a really good question. Depends on what their opening is. If Darklings want to open Sanctuary and they're short of Leech, oh, that's a complicated question. Normally, I would say, if Darklings are trying to open Sanctuary and they're kind of short on Leech, so they don't really have the choice to just like throw their Priest wherever the best bonuses are, the best way to convert a Priest into Leech is usually through the Earth Cult. Because you are generally taking Earth 1, so a Priest to Earth gives you 3 power. However, in this setup, I think you play Darklings without Earth 1. Which means I think you do some wonky stuff here, because you get 2 Econ favors. And you might need a bunch of Leech to open Sanctuary round 1. And the easiest way to do that is actually by either taking Air 2 with a Priest to Air or Water 2. I think now people are just going to bid down Darklings a bunch. I think that's the play. I think your game started? Okay, so I assume that means you're heading out for now. If that's the case, thanks for hanging out in chat for a few minutes, and good luck on your game. I'll take a look after mine's done. I'll go review. Damn. These bids are heavy. I just think engineers are overbid here. I mean, all these trading post events are pretty awesome. Yeah, there's the Darklings bid. There's the Darklings bid. So the question is what's wrong with Mermaids here? I feel like we're all bidding on engineers because we know why engineers are good here. They don't have color neighbors. They get to open double temple. It's trading post events in round 3 and 5. Stuff looks good. Cultists are cultists. They're on the edge of the color wheel. They have tons of yellows to build on. They get 32 call points. That looks good. Darklings are in 4th seat, so they get less Leech, but they get to possibly open Sanctuary. They might have to take some funky favor tiles in order to make that work. They probably get Earth 1 blocked, but it's fine. But there's nothing really wrong with mermaids here. They start d5, e4. They either get a neighbor on e5 with darklings, or they don't, and that's almost better because then they can just dig here. They can upgrade here next to engineers, who probably take this hex pretty quickly and give them more lead. So they do this kind of stuff, and they connect easily off 3 ship. They can expand up here later. Engineers take what? None of these greens. Maybe they get to a10, but like you get this stuff. You don't care about this green. Engineers gets this and this stuff. Yeah. Engineers and mermaids can play a very cozy game with each other on this map. Or sorry, not cozy, the opposite. Like they can be very friendly to one another. Like there's lots of space on the map. Mermaids will just sort of do this kind of stuff, and engineers tend to do like this kind of stuff. Now the other option is that mermaids, and I don't tend to do this as mermaids, and perhaps I should more, is mermaids can be absolutely nutty on this map and pretend like they're a green faction. And they can do stuff like start on h4 and d5 and open with double digs here and here and just be obnoxious. And then that's really annoying for engineers. Mermaids probably get temp ship here, which means that they can D-rush, which is strong, but it hits the track completely backward. Like they would build a bunch of dwellings here and then probably want to temple up for fire 1 or water 1 or something here. So it's like, and then they get to do a bunch of trading posts and stuff. It's good. And there's these they can leverage. But that's kind of their best opening. Because this, I assume cultists and darklings just take this, and then engineers probably just take worker power, which means they open 2 temples and a dwelling. Like I think engineers are very happy with a single spade here. I'm being really slow. Yeah, we might be sleeping on mermaids here. Like the weird thing about mermaids is they probably open temp ship and they don't. Oh, wait a second. Mermaids open, take temp ship, they open double dig, which means they can get 2 dwell. Like mermaids in seat 1 can have Earth 1 and double dig. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Which they should probably do because it hits the track well. And they take temp ship. So how do they use temp ship? They put 1 dig here and get up there and into a dwelling round. Okay, we ended up with cultists. Now where do darklings go here? Hmm. Yeah, I'm not. That's pretty interesting. Darklings just took the workers right away. This makes sense for mermaids because now engineers could get double dig and still Earth 1. So my sort of options are um, my options here, because I do want Earth 1 this game, is basically taking a single spade. My problem with that is I don't have enough workers then to open with another temple. So I can take coins, or I can just upgrade F5 because I think engineers, I'll get more leech that way. But then I won't be able to take a power action for 2 turns if I want to keep Earth 1 tempo. And I think engineers would just take coins here. I think I just take coins, right? Or do I actually want a priest? I need 13 coins, so I'd have to burn a power down for a coin. But I can just send a priest off, which comes with 2 coins. Like I'd be basically spending 4 power for a coin now, 2 coins on the cult, and then just getting like a nice priest of water or something. Who then takes single spade? Kind of want to just take coins here. Just means that like if engineers go single spade, the really awesome thing about worker power for engineers is it basically means that they can open 2 temple and a dwelling. Like they have that extra worker is enough. Like they have 5 workers, so they can open 2 temple and a dwelling. And having 1 extra dwelling in round 1 as engineers is just really awesome. Like you can go Earth 1, Earth 2, and then have a dwelling out. So you have 2 worker production going into round 2, which is really strong. But if they burn for single spade, anyhow, they need 6 coins. So I think taking coins now is just like, yeah, if I'm opening double temple, I think makes a lot of sense. I was actually concerned about trying to secure these hexes from Darklings. Actually, this one mainly. Sorry, I have my work Slack. Hold on just 1 second, just for anonymity issues. I always forget to do that. Okay, I'll bring the game back. Sorry about that, folks. What did we miss? Tensor builds a temple for Earth 1. And Darkling sent the first priest to water. So they have like, okay, so I can just upgrade here and get more leech. Seems okay. I guess I just go up water. The cult rewards, and I discussed this during auction, aren't amazing here for cultists. It may seem nice opening double temple when there's 2 temple events, but this event gives you coins for priests of the cults, which obviously you're not going to get in round 1 if you need to build temples to get priests first. So, for instance, if this was the opening event, you'd get almost as many points. You get 6 points. But you'd get 4 bumps probably, so you'd get a spade. So there aren't great cult rewards here, and then oddly enough, the next cult reward is a priest, which isn't super juicy given that I'm literally gonna have 2 priests next round. So it's basically just like more priests and priests, so it's kind of awkward. But the compensation for that is like straight up 8 points. So engineers took the priest, which makes a good bit of sense. They'll probably send that to air, I would expect. So I'm going to build a temple here for Earth 1. Doesn't matter a ton where I do it. It's both giving everyone the same amount of leech. So I'll just do it here. I still am going to go up water. And then I'm going to take Earth 1. Yeah. The standings and information about, yeah, there's a Google sheet. Let me grab it. Oh, I don't need to keep doing this to you guys. I have another, there's this Google Doc, which is public. It's comment only. Yeah. Anyhow, that was season 1. This is season 2. So this says like who's playing who on what dates, and then they'll put the standings in here. So I should be able to post a link in here. Copy the link. This should work. Pretty nice. Yeah, no worries, chickens. It's pretty nice, Renji. Thanks. So am I doing my usual fire 1 shenanigans? What am I actually trying to achieve next turn? I should really pay attention to this. So mermaids have passed. They get a bunch of coins. They don't have any power to do anything. They have a priest. They probably send it to somewhere annoying. I don't know. Who's passing next? Engineers are pretty much done. They want to send this off. They have tempo and power actions anyhow. Do I get Darkling's Spade? They're still going to build a temple. And then probably pass. So if I take water too, I get a spade going into next round. Oh goodness. I can't actually be considering that. And just get a ton of priests. All for a spade. Otherwise, what do I get? Engineers pass on to temp ship. Oh, well then I get, oh no, they're sending a priest off first. I take an action. Oh, well that's fine. Then I get temp ship, which I can figure out something to do with. That's fine. I don't need to take water 2 just to stall. I'll just build a temple and do whatever I want. Now, what's not super obvious is, well, this will go on water. The step goes on water. I'm going to get power anyhow. If I take Earth 2, the really annoying thing with Darklings is I cannot take double dig. Kind of just want fire 1 here. I need to ship. I have Fire 1 anxiety in Terra Mystica, if people haven't noticed, in the same way that a lot of players have Earth 1 anxiety. I can relate to Earth 1 anxiety via the anxiety that I have over Fire 1. I don't know why. I guess it's just a thing. We all get really particular with the favorite tiles we like George Shortwell in Water 2. I know that's more of a meme than anything, but it's just like, what if I don't have enough coins? Now I think this is actually Water 2. From Darklings. The way I was thinking opening Darklings here, if I got them, was actually doing a Water 2 thing. And getting enough power to open Sanctuary if they took this and gave me the spade. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's like, it's a ton of power now. It locks up the like water cult. He can try to win a cult here. If he can town up before me, probably does. Like, so it's like probably 8 points. The spades late are kind of meh, but it's like some early power and a couple priests going into round 3. I don't know. And although he's playing against cultists, the other factions aren't like amazingly culty. So, you know, although he might not beat me on other cults, like it might, I don't know. There's probably some points baked into it against mermaids and engineers. I mean, I would probably just go Fire 1 or Earth 2 here. But as Darklings, I think is probably the best. Fire 1, yeah. I guess the good thing about Darkling's position here. So I'm passing on to temp ship here. Which is okay. What it really means, though, and what it really means is that I will pay to upgrade ship once, get single dig, and convert a priest to a worker to get 2 more dwellings out, and then leave these open and not send a priest to a cult. It's a little awkward. The other option, yeah, because I can't double dig with Darklings, because like that's the problem with Darklings being here. Because otherwise I could just pass for this, open with. No, I don't even have enough power for double dig. Anyhow, yeah, it's super awkward. I think I pass here. Which gives Darklings the big building bonus, which is pretty amazing for them. I grab this. I upgrade ship once. And like I get single spade next turn, because engineers are going to take double dig, and mermaids don't have any power. Mermaids don't really need power. Their round just sort of seems like sending a priest somewhere and building a couple dwellings. So I get single spade. Here seems more logical for my future connection. Like this is supposed to be a town, and this is a town, and then it all just connects, basically. I do have to be careful about Darklings meddling with that, because presumably they're passing right now for this. Next round, or sorry, not in round 2, like going into round 3, they're gonna have 3 priests, 1 from the water cult and 2 from their sanctuary, which I presume they build next round. And so they can afford to like double dig this or this, and both are really annoying. So what am I saying? My plan of upgrading ship and single spading this or this is dangerous. Yeah, for that reason. Because I'm leaving G4 and F3 open. Not entirely sure what I'm doing, and that was a little unsure of my position. That was a greedy block. That was because Darklings probably just really wanted coins there. And I'm also assuming Engineers take double dig here, although it's not completely obvious because they don't actually have enough workers. Yeah, they take workers and now they take double dig. Okay, which is really broken for them, but if they took single spade, it'd actually be in trouble. Because the sequence that I want here is priest to occult, earth or fire, it doesn't really matter, and then single spade comes back to me. I think that's what I want to do here. Wait. What if I just upgrade ship twice right now and build 2 dwellings on B2 and A7? It's not really any better. There's 2 of the leech. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm good. So I got a coins action, a priest to a 3 spot, and I'm getting 2 dwellings out this round. And one of these might get stomped. But it's okay. This isn't great. Oh, Weber playing cultist game, who would have guessed? Yeah, I know. I stopped bidding on cultists for the longest time, and I was like bidding on darklings. They were left at 30. So I bid them back and forth quite a bit, and then just took 1 more point on cultists, and then the auction ended. I bid Tensor off cultists, and then he jumped to mermaids. Mermaids with a 30 faction here? I think the bidding was pretty wrong. I don't know who it was wrong for. Oh, the other thing I noticed is NG has a spade here. And can just take G2 or D4. I mean, they might just get both. This is probably the ship BP. I mean, I guess that's just as many, that's more points anyhow. Okay, the question is, do I want to stay in the round longer? Oh, engineer now has the power for a single spade, so I can't actually. Yeah. I can't gamble it. I was considering I'm gonna do 3 power to a worker, so I was considering buying a priest just to take one from the table and then also possibly stay in the round longer if it made sense. But I didn't bother counting all that out because I realized engineers could take a spade. Yeah, they've gotten so much leech. They could have taken a spade and actually gotten out 2 more dwellings this round. And did 2 temple, 5 dwelling at the end of round 2. Oh, they can still do that. Yeah, cause, you know. If you look in the Snellman like stat site that I pulled up earlier at the beginning of the stream, when like engineers and darklings are often picked together, the statistics show engineers being so strong. And I thought here it's like, don't overbid engineers. Like they were bid down pretty far, like to 8 points or something. They're not going to get much leech. But then darklings started here. Darklings started here and immediately got boxed in, so they didn't really want to develop this much. And so, yeah, they've just been feeding NG so much leech. I mean, we all have, but. And why not? This priest, like, I guess they could send it to fire. But, I mean, it's just, this is their 5th dwelling. Oh, they have air, they took air too as opposed to earth too. That's really interesting. Huh. Anyhow, I should focus on my own game here. So, do I want a spade next round? Yes. So I can have a spade if I take the priest. And make my round longer. Oh, he sent his... Oh, he can still convert power down. Oh my gosh, he has so much each. Okay. I mean, this is fine. Makes no difference, really. I'll just do this. This is an unbelievable start for engineers. And this air 2 is actually kind of cool. If he gets out another dwelling this round, which I absolutely think he should, because converting 3 power is totally fine. Yep. That's awesome. Then this air 2 makes a lot of sense because he's just got great worker production. Yeah. Okay, so I'm passing here. This might just get dug on me. It's actually not terrible for darklings to do it. They could try to expand places with it, but if it doesn't, I want to be prepared to take it. I have 3 priests next round, and I can take 2 workers. Is 2 workers just better? I mean, this is 2/3 of a dig. Engineers probably, they do have a lot of power income. They don't super need spades next round. I imagine next round's a temple for water 1 and then some trading posts. They'll probably town up and do all kinds of broken things. They probably just pass for coins. They're probably not taking too many spades. Darklings don't take spades. I might be able to take worker power and a coin. Send a priest to, well, Send some priests to air to get a power. Not getting any cult bumps. Am I getting any leech? It's not obvious. This is a little risky, actually. Is this extra worker actually better than 3 power and a coin? You know what? It's not clear that it is. Yeah, my pastels are not amazing here. This does not feel winning. Oh, and Darkwings just took an early water one. That's interesting. I guess it makes sense with this event. Yeah, my pastels have not been great. That's annoying that Mermaids took coins, because I think Darklings might double dig this now. Darklings would almost certainly take coins if they were there. I didn't think Mermaids would burn below 6. Wasn't a round 1 cult, Ultima. It was. Well, that's very nice. Round 1 was Temple event. Probably the worst. And I opened double Temple, not because of the Temple event, but because I just wanted the Temples. Which scored 8 points, which was nice, but I didn't get anything from it. Yeah, 2 coins per priest, exactly. So, kind of feel like I should hard dig G4. This kind of suggests that that's not what he's going to do. And so there's an argument that I send priests to cults and wait for engineers to build a temple here or something to give me leech. It's either F4 or D7 is where his temple is. If that's what he's going for here. No, I just do this. It's really ugly, but it's just what has to be done, and I gotta just figure out my life from here. I think this is just on air. I send a couple priests to air. If I pass in front of Darklings, the spade can go here. If not, I upgrade ship. I don't really know. Darklings might be upgrading ship. Oh, he has a ship VP. Yeah, anyhow. He's not going to, he wasn't going to double dig these. He's upgrading ship twice with his power and coins and like building here. Which is actually pretty annoying. Means he's trying to connect through the north. Yeah, D7. I am going to try to get a second priest in here. I don't know that I'll be able to. I mean, engineers probably just send it now. Oh, there you go. Mermaids might. Yeah. Although this is interesting. This kind of suggests that engineers don't really want water 1. He's just building out trading posts, which is cool. I want to see where Darklings build. I presume they take this hex, in which case, like I can get a cult spade if I want to, just by sending a priest for a single bump, and trading a priest right now for a spade is totally worth it. The question is, what do I do with my second priest? I could upgrade shipping so that my cult spade can go here, but I expect Darklings are just going to build these out. And my spade can now just go here safely. This pass tile is also open. So I think the correct sequence is that I send it to air. I see where cultists, or where Darklings build, and then if they do build on B3, then there's no point. Oh, interesting. So he's blocking that. So it's not super clear what Darklings do now, other than take another priest and try to dig and build this. That's probably their best line. Because he can still get out 2 more dwellings this round. Gosh, this is ugly. I bet engineers are just taking a 2-key town here. Oh no. Could have. I guess he still can. It's not really clear the sequence of these. I'm going to get a sanctuary next round, I think. It's really expensive, but I can actually pass on to that, and that will help. Ship 3 maybe Ultima, but that's really expensive coin-wise. But what did they just do, actually? Oh, they just built a trading post. Okay. Yeah. They super could. I think my best line here is passing for the big building scoring. Hey folks, hey leg up, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to this disaster of a game. How am I doing tonight? It feels possibly like a fourth place, which is bad because in theory I'm the most experienced player at this table. So, you know, it's one of those games. Yeah, so cultists, I ended up probably bidding on cultists a little bit too much. Engineers got bid way, 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 way down. I thought they were overbid. They're probably just correctly bid, but they were bid really low, which I thought was too much. I think normally engineers in this configuration don't see as much early leech as they got here, and I think sometimes players overbid engineers. And this color setup looks really, really strong. They have no color neighbors. There's a 3-0 row on the other end of the color wheel. Like, the track is pretty fine for them. But normally what would happen is there'd be a lot more activity on the side of the board, and engineers would kind of get starved out here. Darklings, though, placed their early dwellings on e5 and g5. e5 was kind of a mistake for them. I was already here. Mermaids plopped one here. So they kind of got boxed in and didn't really want to develop anything here. So all of their development has just been through here, which is just building a nice ring. Since like round 2, like engineers had a trading post here, and Darklings just started like digging and carving out stuff around here. So it's just been like a huge boost to engineers. Engineers also interestingly took Air 2, which kind of hits these cult rewards okay. Yeah, anyhow, they've been able to make it work. They have a ton of power now and lots of coins. They have a very interesting economy. But yeah, they've gotten a ton of leech, and this is just like a very absurd end of round 3 for engineers. So, no, it's true, AJ. Darklings don't really have a ton of good options here, and I don't really know where they would start in this matchup. Not e5, basically. Like, you might, yeah, I don't really know what the right answer is actually for Darklings. Could even be h5. Nowhere where you're going to get a neighbor and have good development. It is a bit of an issue with Darklings here, which is why they weren't bid down a crazy ton. C1's good. Yeah. C1's okay. It's just you don't get a ton of neighbors, or you're not going to get any neighbors really. C1's pretty common. Yep. I mean, C1's basically the same as G5 in a sense, in that it's like 2 digs, 2 spades get you 3 hexes, which is the same as this. So it's a really nice stretch for them. And generally when Darklings are in the game, Mermaids just sort of vacate this area because they don't want to get boxed in. It's obviously like super nice if Yellow's in the game, trying to build stuff here, and Darklings can sort of wrap around them and have some neighbors. But yeah, just kind of a tricky color matchup for Darklings. I mean, they are sandwiched here, so it's not surprising that it's tricky. Then e5 leech battery. Yeah, it's true. So Darklings on 2 ship passed on temp ship. So that gets them here, it gets them here, gets them here. Double east for Darklings. It depends on the seed order and what cultists do, I guess. Just a sec. I have to think about that. Because cultists can start F7, but I guess they wouldn't want to if you were double east. Yeah. Is there water 1 pressure? No. Do I want to take this, build on it, and then second move double dig this? Probably. Will engineers let me? Chances aren't amazing. I should give this a shot. Oh, NG has a spade, a called spade. No shipping. So I can't do that. Alright. Make sure I don't click the wrong thing here. Yeah, that's the thing. So sorry, I'm coming back to this comment a little bit later. Double East is fine for Darklings, generally. I mean, it's just pretty cushy. In most color matchups, engineers want to take all this stuff. They generally leave G6 alone, so you just like carve out 2 towns and then you connect them later. But yeah, it just like it limits network, and basically you just like give NG a stupid amount of power. It's basically the long and the short of it. Okay, I need to just take water 1 here. I need to convert down, I think. I need to convert down 2 coins. Yeah. Because I'll go back up in air. Yeah. And then take water 1. Darklings takes coins. Makes a lot of sense. The power has just been absurd here. I don't think Darklings takes this. 7 for 6. So I think I want a bridge, a single spade, and 2 dwellings. Dwelling here, a bridge here, actually allows me to just take a town now. It looks like engineers are leaving me the 2-key town, which is actually pretty nice. As much as this kind of seems gross, I actually think I want this. Just allows me to connect this structure. Engineers are just crushing all of this stuff. Remember early game when I said I definitely get one of these red hexes? NG can't beat me to both of them. Ha. So I'm just chasing NG up air, basically. Why is that LOL? Did he want that? I don't know. I missed it. Where is he off to? He has 3 shipping and 3 digs. Gosh, this game has just gone sideways. I mean, engineers here probably just want to like upgrade ship and secure some more hexes. They've successfully built up really nicely, but now they just need to expand again. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to try to salvage something here, but it's not going to be good. Take the bridge. Mermaids have 3 ship. I think I sent a priest to water here now. I town up as soon as I 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I town up as soon as I build a dwelling on I7, and I have the resources for that. But I think this was important. All right, so Darklings, I've sunk a lot of resources into like connecting this one structure. I guess they dig this and they get a town up here. I can win air from NG, that's kind of nice. Although next round's the trading post round, so it almost would make sense for NG just to like temple for air 3, just to build another TP. Oh, interesting, and engineers did get water 1 after all. Okay, so I'm just building I7 and taking a town. I guess this makes sense. Should be able to win something. Get a bunch of power. Like winning this from Darklings is good. If I can win this from Engineers, then I probably just win 3 cults. Pretty good. I have neighbors on 2 hexes. So I can build 2 trading posts next turn. I've got lots of workers, so. All right. How many turns does engineers have left? He has 1 shipping. He can reach another hex, build a dwelling, and send a priest to a cult. I wonder if just locking up air right now with these priests is good. I have a ton of workers. Usually late priests, after the cults get full, just become workers. But I'm actually doing really good on workers. I think this is actually not terrible, although it seems really awkward. Oh, it comes with a worker. I get 3 power from it. Engineers could temple for air 3, but they probably don't right now. Or just do other stuff. Yeah. This always feels bad, but I think this is okay. Because if engineers pass, then they get their tile, and if they don't, then I'll just take 7 coins, and I'm okay with either. This comes with a worker, and it's an 8-point swing against engineers. So feels a little desperate. Oh, let me rephrase. It is a little desperate. Just, yeah. That's okay. Yeah, so I guess I'm just passing here for 7 coins. Yeah. And she just passes on the big building bonus, I presume. It's 4 points and 2 workers. Yeah, this all looks really nice. Hence they're getting another 7 coin actions. It's really good. I think there's a lot of utility in upgrading ship this turn. And behind Darklings, there's a possibility I get their pass tile. I have the coins for it. I am building 2 trading posts this turn, at least. And I need to be cognizant of my expansion before my world closes in on me even more than it already has. I am leaving Earth open to engineers. There isn't really much I can do about that. Like, you know, I can't afford to just send more priests to Earth this round. I need them too badly for shipping. Darklings are going to dig a bunch of hexes. They have 2 ship. They've got some priests. I mean, they can even reach both of these hexes if they want to. But I need to upgrade shipping at some point anyhow, just in order to reach what natural browns I can that are left on the board. Hopefully I can get B2 or A7 this turn. I also have Cult Spades coming in. There's almost like no chance of me carving out another town this game because it's just been so ugly. But I do have Earth 1, so there is utility in just building out dwellings. Engineers are obviously winning network here. Their economy has just been so strong. They haven't connected yet. It would require a dig here, but I expect that's coming up pretty soon. So I do get one of these hexes. I thought that was going to be a dig on A7 or B2, because now I have tempo on, like he has to secure A7 for his town spot, which means I at least get B2, and then I can probably take this. I don't think Darklings are too interested in that. So I think I just do this. I basically have 11 coins this turn, which is enough for a dwelling and 3 trading posts. So it might look something like build a dwelling here, TP, 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 cult step my way up Earth if I'm allowed. Maybe there's a world where I even lock up Earth. Yeah, we'll see. I probably lock one of these cults up. And then I have 2 spades going into the last round. So here's the connection. No, yeah, this connects engineers off 3 ship, which they don't have now, but they will easily afford in the last round. I think I would rather this hex than this hex, only because one of my cult spades can go on B1, which opens up another brown. It's not really clear where my second spade is going to go that Darklings can't just mess with. But that's a next turn problem. So I'm just building a dwelling here and taking a step up. Probably Earth if I can. This also means I can walk up Earth next turn with a priest. I'm never going to be able to lock up. I only have 2 keys, so I can't lock up both of these cults, but locking up Earth is a little bit better. It forces Darklings to do an awkward like Temple for Water 3 if they want to lock it up. Instead of G3, yeah, I don't really get that either. Especially with engineers at 3 ship who can actually dig this and have a spade. But yeah. Yeah, this hex here just gets them 2 free grays. Darklings might mess with one, but they've been pretty busy upgrading ship and carving out town spots. They don't have a ton of extra priests, so they certainly get 1 free gray off this dig, if not 2. I'm not entirely sure what this was all about. More leech for engineers. I guess Darklings just don't have a neighbor up here. Like, they have no choice. So I can secure H3 right now. It basically means doing worker to coin conversion, which is pretty fine. It's actually quite okay. And I think I do this. Means doing worker to coin if I still want to get out 3 trading posts. It does just keep me in the round a bit longer. Like I already have 3 turns that I pretty much definitely want to do, and I really want Darkling's pass tile. But if I leave this open for him, he doesn't have that much other stuff to dig. So he probably takes this. It's a little tricky. Yeah, G3 still requires 3 chip to connect. Both do. The reason G3 is good is because it opens up 2 gray hexes. Red doesn't open up anything, and red's not under threat by any faction. Green's under threat by their closest color neighbor, mermaids. Mermaids have 3 chip and a spade, so they're going to dig something this turn, and it's probably going to be a green. But I'm not much of in a position right now to be pointing out my opponent's perceived misplays. I've had very few pass points this game. My cults might be okay by some miracle. Like there is a world where I get 28 points, but it's most likely that I have I probably have 24. A pass tile in the last round. Only 1 town. Anyhow, priorities are trading posts. Do I want to give NG a 3 for 2? I think he's apt to decline them at this point. Mermaids might take the leech. And I kind of want the cult step on Earth. Okay, so they both took it. So I think this... Yeah. Seems to have a decent chance, actually, of 3 cults. Do I want a 2 for 1? Yes, probably I do. And I really just want to build a 3rd trading post and build another dwelling this turn. H3 also means that my cult spades can go on H1 and B1, where it's probably the safest. And then I just have 3 more hexes I can build on. Which still gives me a really tiny network. But there's a clear path for 4 structures right there without spending too many resources, and I can probably hard dig down something or whatever. Temple. I guess Air 1 is probably worth 3 points this round and maybe 4 next. Or Water 2 is... Well, Water 2 is kind of risky. If he wants to lock up his call, it probably needs to be Water 3. Though Air 1's probably just more points. Or it could be Fire 2. Let's try to make this town easier. Basically saves him some coins. Air 1's got to be probably the best. Yeah. So Darklings are pretty much out of moves at this point. I think I just want to build another trading post. I think I just do this. And then I guess I lock up, well, this is the question. Oh, is it decline? It's hard to say if he'll accept or decline this. Okay, it was a decline. I was going to say, I wasn't not really sure which I would have tried to lock up. Probably Earth. I think there's a bigger chance of engineers putting a priest to Earth and a temple for Earth 3 than there is with Darklings, especially with this temple to temple again. Yeah. Yeah, my key gets used on Earth. And then I try to just stay ahead of these guys here. And that's my path to, like, I don't know, end on the 6th step, 9th step, lock. That's like 28 call points. So this is really nice. I think I can stall. I might need to buy a priest here. Oh, Darklings might buy a priest and stall, which would be really annoying. But if I get to finish out my round and then still get on a pass tile. I don't think Darklings buy a priest. He's not fighting me for a pass tile. It would be a block, which is totally reasonable. And maybe he just wants the 6 coins, but you know, doing something that you wouldn't otherwise want to do just in order to prevent a player from getting a pass tile. I mean, unless, yeah, I don't know. Unless he perceives me as being like that I'm directly ahead of him or his main competition in place order. But yeah, he doesn't fight too hard. He just passes, probably worker power, spade even. Yeah, that seems fine. So Patrick's gonna have full power. He probably just takes spades next round, I would think. Like he just has, well, maybe he just takes spades. He doesn't have that many more structures to build. Tensor can't take coins. Darklings will take coins unless Patrick takes them. Patrick probably takes coins. Yeah. I'm gonna build another dwelling. I'm gonna do it this way. Oh, this is interesting. This gives Tensor the coin action, right? Super does. If I do this, I probably get an accept. I lock up Earth. That gives me 3 power plus this 3 from ship VP plus the 4 income I already have, which gets me exactly full. Okay. I think Tensor accepts this. I think he thinks Patrick might not take coins, and this puts him in a position to be able to. Yeah, and then we decided we're locking up Earth. And I can accept 7 power. And I have 4 and 7. Ugh, I don't know, guys. This is rubbish. Mermaids don't have a ton of cult points. And neither do Darklings. Darklings don't have a pass tile. Darklings probably have a town coming in. Mermaids probably have like 2. That's awesome. Yeah, they both have towns coming in. Yeah. Now I think this has got to be dead last. Mermaids have a ton of resources. Yeah, so mermaids just like beat me on. I mean, mermaids are probably building a stronghold this round. But gosh, maybe I am. Like, I think I don't even know that I get network points here. So I think I have no towns coming in. No Air 1 points that these 2 factions have. No towns coming in that these factions have. And I just basically have like 15 to 20 cult points at best on the cults to like Darklings. And 9 pass points. I don't know. Yeah, it's not looking good. I clearly have not played base enough recently. After Season of Fire and Ice, Season of Lakes, 100 games of Lakes I think I played. Finally got okay at it towards the end. I guess 100 games will do that. Made it into the top 30 or something. Whoop-dee. And then playing a ton of Fjords, because that map's sick. I just have not played enough base, really. The odd game here and there. This may seem kind of wacky, but I have just enough resources to get down 5 more structures. I don't know if that makes sense, though. I want it to, but without being able to get network points. I think a stronghold is just better. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Okay. Just building out dwellings. Chasing engineers up fire. I will send a priest to fire. But engineers just upgrade on the exchange track. Do they have that many resources? Oh my gosh, engineers have fully advanced digs. What is happening? I don't really know why. Okay, that finally got taken. Proper engine, yeah. He has more hexes than he has structures to build on, basically. Oh, this is kind of fun. So at least he'll take a worker town. And then to see if, yeah, he'll get 3 priests. Probably. And then, oh, this makes my line actually good. Okay. I really don't like building Cultist Stronghold, even in a big building game. If you have Earth 1 and Water 1, I always feel like it's better just like build stuff out. And so I was stubbornly doing it, even though I actually thought when I chose to take that double dig that this was a stupid line. But I think this is actually okay now. because I think I get network points against Darklings. Stronghold and 3 bridges. The problem with strongholds in the end of the game is they usually come at the expense of network. However, that might not be the case with engineers, because they probably just build a stronghold and 3 dwellings and win network. Yeah. So I'm getting down to 14 structures, just 4 structures left on my board. I'm actually going to build out this TP, but then I won't have enough resources, no way, to... I won't have enough resources to... well, I won't have a hex to build the 3rd dwelling on. So I'll have 4 structures left on my board, a stronghold, 2 temples, and a dwelling. That will beat Darklings, because they built a stronghold, so they don't have enough stuff. Well, can they... This is free. Then they just need 6 resources? No. Yeah, so I get points on Darklings. Mermaids literally just has to build this landscape, and they tie me on network for 3rd place, which means they... Or, yeah, tie me on network, which means they probably have enough juice with a coin town to, like, TP dwelling and dig down the landscape. I'm not doing the math, I'm exhausted, but... Actually, maybe they don't. They would need 6 workers and 3 coins. Oh, what am I talking about? To beat me, yeah. So I'll tie with mermaids on network. I think. I'm really tired. Half of you guys are probably in chat, like, already actually calc that out in 2 seconds, and for some reason my head is just, like, not obviously in the game tonight, and it's way too difficult for me to figure that out. But yeah, I think I'm getting 9 network points, which is helpful. So I've just been delaying to force him to, yeah. Well, I guess he towned up anyhow, but he has fire too. But I've been delaying building here just to not give mermaids a neighbor. I do want to send a priest to fire. NG NG needs 3 ship though. But they probably just temple for fire 3. This probably doesn't matter. I think it's okay here because my priests aren't going to be used for anything else, and it gives me a coin. Mermaids already have you as a neighbor for TH. I don't know what TH means. Trading house. Yes, on H2. Yeah, for sure. That's fun. Something I totally wasn't thinking about, that it's going to be fine, but I actually have to build on H1 and then A1 and in that order, is that NG has upgraded digs and could, like, can hit this. I mean, I'm sure he has better things to do with his resources, given that I'm not doing super well, but my next move is build on H1, build on A1, and then I think it's just trading post. Yeah. Darkling's ghetto to dwelling here. Possibly. Possibly Ultima. Alright, there goes Water Cult. That's fun. So I'm going to do this. I assume this is a decline, and that Tensor doesn't want an actual 3 for 2 right now. I'm going to build out these 2 dwellings, and then look at my resources then, because I know I want to do this. Oh, and Darklings don't really have a ton of Air 1 points. And they have 0 network. But I'm not winning fire here. I don't think. I think Patrick knows that I don't have a key, and he has more resources than he knows what to do with, so I think he just temples at some point for fire 3. And I was just running like really rough calcs in my head, but I think I'm actually close enough to Darklings that this temple for Water 3 wasn't too bad. So I think he and I are fighting for 3rd and 4th. And I think I'm like 5 points behind him, or 4 or something. Maybe it's worse than that. I'm just gonna do this. We'll take the accept, because I don't have a key. Just thinking about it, which is interesting. No. Would have thought that would have been an immediate accept, knowing I don't have a key. Like if he had just his intention of fire 3ing here. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, like if he doesn't advance dig. If NG doesn't advance dig, then my locking up Earth is okay. Because he would have extra priests to send to Earth. But because he advanced digs, in retrospect, water would have been better here. It's very true. Yeah. So let's see, can I do anything? What kind of resource do I have to work with? Yeah, so I do have a dig advance. That's got to be the best. Yeah, so it's got to be a dig advance. So I have no resource points, 79 on the board, 4 on fire, 4 on water, 8 and 8, pass for 9. And a network, which, yeah, what am I talking about? I totally didn't calc mermaids. So I have a whopping 118 points. Darkling's pass for 2. He has 9. Or sorry, this is, 9 points. So Darklings are 123. So I'm 118, Darklings are 123. Mermaids are 4, 6, 7, 140. Whoop. No, don't do that. Well, thanks for tuning into the stream, folks. Sorry, it was just like a absolute nightmare of a game from the beginning. And in retrospect, there wasn't like any anything hugely damaging that happened to me. I just sort of started the game and everything felt awkward and I didn't really have a game plan. F7 and F5. F7 and F5. Really? Not sure about that. Right. Yeah, big on Earth One. Look at like, what's your username? Are you semi old guy? Is it the same on BGA? Take it less than half the time. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Maybe the center's a trap. I don't know. I think my problem with Double East Cultists is it's just the same problem with what happened here with Darklings. Is that it just gives too much power to engineers. You're on Punzi on BGA. Cool, I'll look you up. Samuel Guy and Snowman, gotcha. Yeah. As for Earth 1, I mean, the track was pretty good for scoring. Oftentimes when I'm opening double temple with Cultists, if I'm getting 2 early favors with any faction, I don't mind a scoring favor. Really just comes down to how big of a network I think I'm going to build. And I find if it's sort of 13 plus, especially if you're getting that like Earth 1 favor before you build your first or second dwellings, then it's usually worth it. I don't know. I don't really know entirely what that's based on. It's sort of gut feeling. But if it's kind of like you're getting, I don't know, when you're only getting like 10 structures out after Earth 1, like if you open with a double dig and you get a few dwellings down, then it kind of doesn't feel as good. I don't really know. I don't really know what the cutoff is for that. But for me with cultists, it's like I often feel like I'm getting to network 14 probably. Although, mind you, one of these were a landscape. But you're taking Earth 1 before getting a dwelling down if you're opening double temple. So all of your dwellings after that are scoring. So I guess I started with 2 structures, and one of my structures was a landscape. So I built 11 dwellings after having Earth 1, so it's like 22 points, and still had an economy favor. But I don't know, I mean, Earth 2 certainly would have been helpful early on. Maybe Earth 2 might have been a little bit better, just because I did sort of punt shipping until later in the game. I've been playing so much lakes where like often what I want to do as cultists is get fire 1 really early, get priest production, and then pass on to something like worker power for an extra worker and just upgrade shipping and immediately get out dwellings on natural browns. But base map is a little different in that you are digging a little bit more, and not shipping quite as fast. I mean, still shipping to the north if you want to get connection is good, but I think that's something I have to keep in mind, especially here. Now I messed it up, but I think the original plan here was like a town here, and then sort of a 1-ship connection, and then ship later to sort of expand to some other areas. So I think there's something to be said that my normal sort of Earth 1, Fire 1 shenanigans and like early double ship doesn't make quite as much sense in this sort of build pattern, unless you're trying to expand to the north early. Anyhow, I have some soul searching to do with cultists on base map. Hey Tensor, thanks for tuning in at the end. Great games, that's very generous. This stream has been a lot of me complaining about my position all game and not having any idea of what I'm really doing. This is one of those games from like basically after the end of round 1, as of me passing on to my round 2 bonus tile, I was kind of like not really sure what I was supposed to be doing. The game just immediately kind of fell apart. I didn't have a game plan of like what I was trying to reach for. But I appreciate you saying that nevertheless. And yeah, I'll just read some of these comments. With both your and Darkling's dwelling starting next to each other, there's usually pressure to claim similar space. Tempting Darklings to take Earth 1 there instead of Fire 1 means you probably get upper hand in claiming that space. So if they're slightly more coin starved, I'm able to expand better. I guess I see your point. I guess there would be an argument if I took Fire 1 and Darklings didn't, that I would have a better shot of the north. I see your point there. He would be more coin starved, less able to advance shipping, and I probably get to this stuff easier. Yep, that's certainly a good point. No neighbors down in the south definitely means a rough town. Yeah, this was kind of an ugly town. Yeah, actually, the only reason this really worked was because this town got cut off, so I put my sanctuary here. And sanctuaries are just such an ugly building to build for cultists because they're expensive. They're an 8-coin sanctuary. They do nothing for cultists other than get a favor tile and allow you to build a 3-structure town. Half of the point of this big ugly building is being able to create a 3-structure town, and so I didn't even utilize that. I basically just, like, what was that, round 4? I was on the big building pass tile, so it was basically like a 9-point structure to secure another point scoring favor and get an early 2-key town. But this is definitely not optimal. What you definitely want here is like a sanctuary town in here and then a neighbor down here to like build a bunch of trading posts. But Tensor, a couple of game thoughts I want to get to this. Cultists with black factions in the game on base map are not particularly good. Okay. You compete both in the center and in the north. Yeah. And Darklings beating you to the north is rough for sure. E5 start by them was a bit of a mistake that ended up costing you. Right. Though engineers after Darklings build all around them. Round 2 were locked in for the win, in your opinion. Absolutely crushing amounts of leech. Yes. Yeah, and that's something that came up earlier on in my stream, sort of in like round 2 or 3, was I wasn't really expecting this to happen. The reason engineers come out so strong in matchups against Darklings on Snellman, if you look at Snellman stats, was because years ago, the sort of the standard meta, if you will, was a double East Darklings with engineers, and they would just get a ton of leech. So engineers did really well. And we sort of discussed this earlier on in chat in the stream, which was that I thought in the bidding engineers were getting overbid because I felt they wouldn't get as much leech. There'd be more activity around here, and they'd build up here and not get as many early neighbors and as much leech. Of course, what ended up happening was almost like a double East Darkling start. Yeah, Darkling's placing here and then never really doing anything with it. But I thought about this in terms of it boosting engineers. I never actually thought about this, him placing on E5 in terms of how much effect that had on me personally. Because it would have just been an easier hex for me to dig and get a sanctuary town. It's actually not something I thought about. But the other interesting thing, Tensor, and if you're still on the stream, I'd be interested in your opinion on this, is that we talked about this whole thing, but then AJ pointed out, he's like, yeah, but where do Darklings start? And that's kind of a difficult question to answer. Is like, there really is not a great, there's not really a great starting spot for their second dwelling. They can either build up here and get an early sanctuary for a bunch of leech and just leave it stranded and then try to connect it later. They can build over here where there's some cheap hexes, but they probably don't get neighbors, and then their connection's really tricky. They can sort of go here to like piss me off, but then again, they don't really get neighbors. Like it's not really obvious where they go. You're hoping they go E5 and leech starve engineers. You stop bidding them because you're worried about that. You stop bidding engineers or Darklings? Mermaids in the game, I kind of like B5 as a second dwelling. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I've thought about that too. You can usually get this hex pretty early, and it's like a double dig opens up another black. And then usually mermaids or someone will be over here eventually. You stop bidding engineers. Yeah, I stopped bidding engineers too. I stopped bidding engineers way before you guys did, actually, because I thought like thought I was being clever, that I saw something that you guys didn't. I thought like, oh, these guys are like way overbidding engineers here. Like engineers aren't going to get that much leech. They're going to get leech starved. Like they're not worth. They were worth this on Snellman 5 years ago, but they're not worth this now on BGA. But how wrong I was. Cool. Hey guys, I really love the late game comments. It's a lot of fun. Do you think taking 7 coins instead of double dig was a possible mistake? When did I take 7 coins instead of double dig? I took 7 coins a few times. I took 7 coins in round 1 as a block to engineers, sort of. It was that or take a priest. I took maybe coins again in round 2 over single spade. I think part of my hesitation to take double dig, and this is another problem with Darklings starting E5, is when Darklings are E5, Cultist E6, and you've got this going on, Cultists basically can't take double dig unless it's later in the round and Darklings are out of priests, or it's really late in the round and Darklings have passed and for some reason Act 6 is still available. So of course, if you double dig, you're turning 2 yellow hexes to brown, building on one of them and leaving the other, and Darklings would always just take it. So it does mean taking spades is like tricky. I don't know what my power action breakdown was, but it felt pretty inefficient. Yeah, I took a double dig in round 6, which is not an amazing time to get it, and took 2 single spade actions and 2 coins actions because they were just sitting there. I didn't really know what else to do, and a priest as a stall, I think, which didn't end up working, and then a bridge action. So my power actions weren't amazing. No one look at my thinking time, please. It's horrendous. Yeah, could have changed red to yellow. Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's another argument to be made that maybe I shouldn't have opened double temple, and that was kind of a trap. because I can't blame it all on bidding, right? Like, that's the easy thing to do, is just be like, well, I overbid cultists. Okay, well, say cultists were the 30 faction here. I now have 15 extra points. I still lose to Tensor, and I beat Darklings by a few points. So, like, it's mainly a misplay and not auction. So I like to look at this, like, what was I supposed to do here to hit 135 points? Because then I can blame the rest on auction or something like that. But I did at least 15 to 20 points of bad stuff in this game, at least. And maybe there is something to be done about not building a temple and using my power for spades or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's not the worst, as long as you can get this. And Darkling's upgrading here. I mean, Darklings could have crushed me by taking G4, F3, especially in round 3 when he had 3 priests, but he didn't. So, you know, the point is, double digging D4 is really bad if Darklings turn around and dig this, because then you're taking, like, a hex that doesn't do anything. It doesn't give you a town. But, like, yeah, double digging this to brown, this to yellow, building on this, and then just taking this later, that might have been a better play. I'll have to go back, like, maybe in round 2. Well, I guess engineers built this pretty quickly. They just had so much power and so many early spades. I think they secured this really quickly. I feel like when Nerdcube goes double temple, it's always based on some other method of scoring, whether that means shipping scoring on round 2 with his 2 priests and 7 coin action. Yeah, I think the double temple thing, which has become a Nerdcube signature, but I've been double templing as long as Nerdcube has. It's my one little claim to fame. But I think the thing is it is definitely a fire and ice, and especially a lakes thing. It's become particularly popular on lakes for brown factions, and it's pretty good on fire and ice as well. Yeah, as for it being based on some other method of scoring, ship scoring, I think there's definitely something to be said that I didn't hit ship scoring until the very end of the game. And yeah, my temples and fire one didn't turn into shipping and scoring on the ship BP really at all. I mainly built double temple and then just, like, sent priests to cults. And yeah, no, it definitely wasn't very optimal. Your hot take is that it's worth double digging one of G2 or D4 here, yeah, to get a sanctuary town in the center. An even hotter take is that you can build a D3, E3, okay, D3, okay, this is a hot take, E3, E2, oh yeah, I was looking at this at some point. It would have been nice for you, but it was a little too late in the game. But there was a point in time where I realized, like, I had some cult spades and ended up taking Act 6. So in the later part of the game, I had 4 spades and built trading posts. This was in the TP round 5. But basically move some of these random structures over here and you almost have a town, which is quite a few points and another cult. So yeah, there's definitely, when this got cut off, there's definitely something to be said about taking this. Although again, I think I was considering, like, cult spading E3, but Darklings being here again is, like, with tempo on me, like, having passed first with shipping Darklings, it can just basically dig my stuff if I cult spade it. So I couldn't quite figure that out. There was a moment where I was trying to figure out if I could actually carve out a town with some spades and with, like, Act 6 and cult spades and stuff like that, and leaving certain things brown for a turn. But I just couldn't figure it out in time. Controversial take, fire 1 air 2 to abuse the air track more. No, I don't think that's controversial at all. I think what I might do there is air 2 earth 2 or air 2 earth 1. But double econ both being, like, when they're fire 1 and air 2 is possibly the wrong mix, but I certainly don't think that double econ or having econ as air 2 is necessarily that controversial of a take. I certainly think there's something reasonable there. Oh, good point. Semi-old guy says, though, when NGs took Air 2, might have gone for Fire 1 instead. This is an important thing to note, and actually Rainier makes this point on his stream quite a bit. Good thing to keep an eye out for. Air 2 is, of course, 2 coins every turn unless you spend the power on power actions, right? So Air 2 is only as good as your ability to actually use power actions. Your ability to use power actions depends on how much power is in the game. So if all the power tiles are in the game, and Chaos Magicians are in, who always have Air 2, and Swarmlings are in, which have a ton of power, and Engineers are in, that already have 5 power. Like, if there's a lot of power in the game, the relative value of Air 2 decreases. And Semi-Old Guy brings up an interesting point. You had Air 2 Engineers. Engineers are already a power faction. They build a second temple pretty early and basically have, like, an Air 2 in this temple. But he had, like, 9 power as of, well, the end of round 1. So there's that much more power injected into the game. There's that much more competition on the power tiles and in the power actions, and thus the relative value of Air 2 does decrease. So Air 2 would be nice because of the sort of synergy it has on the air track rewards, but it might be a bit of a trap because you might just get cut out of stuff. I think it could be totally fine here, but it is just certainly something to keep in mind. The Darklings definitely just made this game so much more difficult. It's understandable that choices are easier in hindsight. Yeah, I mean, Darklings did make this difficult for me, but they are also a color neighbor. I don't think any of their individual decisions are actually, you know, that bad in a sense. Like, I'm certainly not blaming Darklings for my outcome here, but yes, Darklings are a very annoying color neighbor to cultists, which Tensor certainly pointed out. Darklings taking E3 would be quite unfortunate. Yes. Oh. You were concerned that they would disrupt your southern town? Oh, down here? Oh, and Semi-Old Guy, I noticed your revision. Earth 2, Air 2. Yeah. In retrospect now, if I went double econ, I'm on board with Earth 2, Air 2. Based on E5. Yeah, maybe it had that much of an effect. Well, I guess the thing about this dwelling cost me a town. A town probably cost me a cult. A town is 9 points and a cult is 4. So yeah. I think with this hex I don't come in 4th, but I also saw that turn Tensor where he had temp shipping and I thought Darklings would dig H2. Oh, I see. You're seeing the same thing Tensor did. Yep, fair enough. Well, awesome. This is great. Thanks so much for the post game, everyone. I really love this. I think in the future I may or may not stream these games. It's always a little awkward streaming like tournament style games just because you don't want the other players to think that you're like reading chat and getting too many hints. However, I think if any of my other Div 3 opponents are concerned that me streaming a game helps me, I can just point them back to this VOD, and this is kind of proof that, yeah, I can lose a game all by myself. So, as I said, we might be voice chatting in some of the future games, but if not, I think I'll probably just stream them again. So, this may or may not happen sort of sporadically last minute. But I certainly would love for you guys to come back on stream next time I'm on chatting through games. This was a lot of fun. And just a reminder, I do have another open table game coming up. Let me just plug open table while I have people here. So the schedule looks a lot like, where is it? So it's going to be, yeah, so this coming Friday, July the 9th at 7 p.m. It's going to be Ryan the Man, George Shortwell, and Rafi. And I'm probably going to see if I can push them towards a base game, but we'll see. I usually allow the players to decide. And then the following Friday, the 16th, it's going to be at 6 p.m. These times are all in Eastern with Babic, Danny B's coming back, and Super Zerny. So hope to see you guys on those streams as well. All right, I'm going to end it there. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.